Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, August 27th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I'll do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos where the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol ASST. Very nice mover today. And now late day here, you can see the price is starting to come back to life, which just leads to the a relatively obvious question. Okay, is this the start of something even bigger? Is this momentum going to carry it back up to these previous areas of resistance? And where are those areas at? Well, in my mind, the key level to watch from a resistance standpoint, right here around $2.22. Now, I realize that the price did technically go up above there, but there is actually, a situation right there and right there. So two times where the price got rejected off that, only once up there. So that's why, in my opinion, I'm just going to consider $2.22 that main area of resistance. But as of right now, there's no guarantees, but it's certainly more than plausible to say that, okay, maybe 222's got a chance of getting tested because, again, you have this nice upwards movement here. That doesn't guarantee anything, just to really reiterate that, but it makes it plausible. Case in point, let's say the price was doing something like this, and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like 222 has a chance of getting tested. You'd be totally justified to say, wait, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally drifting downwards. But that's not the case here, right? The price is, getting a strong move to the upside. Volume is starting to increase again. So we'll see if it can carry back up to that 222 mark. But all in all, interesting situation here with the big move, pullback. Now you're getting another surge. Is this the start of something bigger? Like I said, we'll see how it goes on Tuesday. Next one, MULN, and this is a pretty rough looking chart, although it all does depend on perspective. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart looks absolutely terrible. But if you care about just these situations where you can buy at, relatively wise pullback areas and you just like to play pullbacks in general, and if you like penny stocks, this one certainly fits those criteria. So that leads to, okay, well, what is this, reasonable area to buy in a pullback? And if you're any sort of chart trader, you probably already know where I'm going to point out. But purple line right there is the very well-known 50-period moving average. As I've said, it guarantees nothing, but it's certainly reasonable to think that the price could find some support at that purple line there and get some sort of bounce off that level. And while it's not, for sure going to get tested, I think it's reasonable to think that the price is so close to it that there's a great chance that the price could go down there and test. We'll just call it 0.346 as that main area. So if you're somebody that likes penny stocks, you like to play pullbacks, you like to play pullbacks at relatively well-known moving averages, then this one, like I said, fits that criteria. Next one, ticker symbol RR, and same general idea of what I've been talking about with all these other ones, kind of a common theme. There's been a strong start, there's been a bit of a pullback, and then there's been some signs that maybe this thing's getting ready to turn around. So the first one, the price has already started to go up. The second one, you had that key moving average. And now this one, we have some sideways movement here, and then a slight upwards movement with it. Now, I really wish I could say that trading was as easy as just finding things that go sideways after big pullbacks, because sideways means that it's for sure the bottom and for sure the price is going to keep going up. Not quite that easy, but it goes back to that talking point of it's at least reasonable. It's plausible to think that maybe, just maybe, this thing is getting ready to turn itself completely around and go through another surge of momentum, with that key battleground being right there at $1.73. So, like I said, no guarantees, but way more plausible than if the price was dropping here and doing something like that, and then I'm all of a sudden saying, hey, it's looking like this thing could be getting ready to break up through 173. That wouldn't make any sense, but in this situation it does, because the pullback has stopped, it's gone sideways, got a little upwards movement to it. So yeah, can the price get the break of 173 on Tuesday? Grab your popcorn. Next one here, TNXP, and I'm going into broken record mode because we have, once again, a general situation here where strong start, pullback, and then yes, now all of a sudden the price is hanging out and hovering right around that 50-period moving average, which I would also say in this situation is a muscle level from just an overall sense. And I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to go down that purple line and then break down below there, what would you have? Well, from an overall chart perspective, you'd have the price having gone right back to where it was. Or said another way, that would be implying that the price spiked up, and then went all the way right back to where it started. Not exactly a sign of genuine power. In fact, you could, use that as a, you could call that a pump and dump price action wise. I'm not saying the company is a shady scam company and they're running a pump and dump. I'm just saying that from a price action standpoint. Big move up, and then all of a sudden the price has gone right back to where it was. Now, again, that has not happened because the price is still staying above that purple line, but it serves kind of two roles. The first role is, yeah, it is a logical area where the price could find some support and could bounce from. But it's also just an area where it's telling you whether or not today's big spike up actually had any sort of genuine power behind it, or if it was just essentially a pump and dump. Next one, ticker symbol NVDA, and once again, this line up here has become very, very annoying at 130 as a resistance. Not annoying in the sense of, this kind of annoying where the price just can't push through it. I would argue a worse kind of annoying where the price can push above it, but then all of a sudden it just fails. Because as you saw what happened there, same exact thing happened here. Opening 30 minutes, price got the breakup through there, was acting strong just like it was acting strong there, but then completely failed back to the downside. So 130 is certainly a very, very tricky level from a resistance standpoint. Not in the sense of it being like this anymore where the price can't break above it, but in the sense of the price can break above it, but then when it comes to being able to stay above it, yeah, whether or not it can maintain that, the last two times as I've shown, very tricky in that regard. In terms of areas of support, what I want to get into play here is very curious about this trend line here. See if the price can maintain that moving forward. So change that to green and then make it a little bit unique. So there we go. Now, if the price cannot hold above here, then I think there's a very good realistic chance that this thing does, break down and come to at minimum 121. Again, no guarantees, so don't go take your kids' college tuition, fund and go all in puts. But I think it's a reasonable thought to have, especially if there is any sort of break of that green line there on high volume. But yeah, overall, the chart's hanging in there from a big picture standpoint, but looking at it today, just individually, very annoying day. 130, certainly a very tricky level. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used, then definitely go get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the page there that you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one, ticker symbol NDRA. Very, very nice move today, came to life. In a big way, good solid volume, and now we have ourselves a nice pattern here. And I think a lot of people have noticed this pattern, specifically the top part of the pattern resistance right there. And I make that comment because when lots of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So no guarantees, but plausible to think that if the price comes up here and pushes up through the top part of that trend line, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. And then as far as the bottom part of the pattern is concerned, we have that area right there, so let me change that to green for support. So we have resistance, we have support, we have the big upwards move here, we have the golf hole down here to make it a little bit more visual for you golfers, and this would be a bull pennant pattern. So if you like penny stocks, you like bull pennants, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and this one had a rough day today, not necessarily because it was red, but because it broke down through an area of support that had been doing a good job of holding strong, which is that green line right there. So that's where the first update comes into play, just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce back to the upside, $214 going to be that main level to watch, which you can see the price really struggled with earlier on in the day there. And then from an overarching standpoint, actually lots of resistance levels. You have that 50 period moving average to deal with. You have that trend line up. In fact, let's just one hurdle at a time. Let's just first see if the price can get above this level here at 214 and then the purple line, and then we can revisit that overall trend line. But I don't want to risk causing confusion because there's lines and clutter everywhere, so let's try to keep this as clean as possible. As far as areas of support are concerned, definitely now all eyes going to be on that pink line down there, which on my chart denotes the very well known, the very famous 200 period moving average, right now valued at $209. So keep an eye on that if the price does break down further, as that'll be a very important level that you'd want to see hold strong, assuming of course you're bullish. Next one, OPEN, and just absolutely grind mode on this one. If I was putting together a textbook and needed an example for the chapter about uptrends, that one would certainly fit the bill there. I mean, truly a beautiful move here, beautiful overall trend. And that's really where I want to focus on here, is just where some of these pullback areas at if this thing does decide to take a little breath and pull back, which is done several times. So pullbacks are not a bad thing. And there is a pullback, prove to be healthy. There is a pullback, prove to be healthy. There is a pullback, prove to be healthy. So again, just because something pulls back is by no means the end of the world. So first key level to watch on any sort of pullback right there around $2.40. But from the overarching standpoint, the general overall level to watch for is just that purple line there, 50-period moving average. As the lines, or as the name says, moving average, so that line will move itself higher and higher. So in other words, it's essentially like a trend line that's drawing itself for you. In fact, I like to call moving averages trend lines for lazy people. If you don't feel like drawing a trend line, fine. Let this moving average draw the trend line for you. So in other words, as long as the price stays above that moving average, then overall the trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. In terms of areas of resistance, no need to overcomplicate it. Just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And it finally stopped up there at $2.55. So no complicated logic there at all. Like I said, just a very simple question. So keep an eye on 255. But taking a step back, as long as this thing keeps on putting in those higher highs and higher lows as it's been doing, then the chart will take care of itself. Next one here, LCID. Been tracking this one on a very routine basis, and once again need to get things updated as we have, again, I'll call it one of these kind of self-fulfilling prophecy areas, because as I draw this, I am not trying to brag. I'm not trying to imply this is a great skill. I assure you a lot of people have drawn that trend line. So as I mentioned earlier, when lots of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movements, and that's what I think we have with that level right there. So any sort of break of that, I could see that creating more momentum to the upside. But as I also just talked about, pullbacks are not bad. This thing has gone through pullbacks before, but overall, as you see here, the trend is very, very impressive. So as long as this thing keeps on putting in those higher lows, and that's where we can once again just make it easy, refer back to the trend line that draws itself for us, that 50-period moving average, and from an overarching sense, as long as the price is above that purple line, then everything is still perfectly fine. But in the near term, as far as battlegrounds are concerned, definitely keep an eye on that resistance trend line right there. Next one, TQQQ, and this one had a rough day today. Again, not necessarily because it was a red day, but the price had been trying to form a trend line, but you can see earlier on in the day, the price just did not care about the trend line, crashed down through it. Now, to be fair somewhat, at least the price didn't continue to bleed. It did start to go sideways down here. So like I said, it could have been worse on the day for sure, but nonetheless, still a rough day. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. And also just map out where the new key level of support is. So getting green for support, and that is right down here at $67.60. To bring up a little bit more context to that, you can see that throughout the course of past several weeks, right there behaved as support, right there as support, and then you fast forward to today, support, and then the support right there. So 67.60, definitely very, very important level, and one where if that does not hold, then I'm not saying it drops straight down to the 200-period moving average, but there is quite a bit of kind of just open area on the chart where the bears could certainly find some more downside momentum and keep things moving in that direction. If it does try to bounce back upwards, then watch that purple line right there, 50-period moving average. You can see that now has gone into acting as resistance a couple of times there, a couple of times there. So as that move slopes downward, or as that line slopes downwards, just continue to watch that on any sort of bounce and see if the price can push up through there. And if it can, then at that point it makes a little bit more sense to turn your attention back to 72. Now I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool and how it should and can be used, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Like I said, it'll be later this week, Thursday, August 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I'm now on the 4-hour time frame, so each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours, not 30 minutes, and that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7, and I want this video and the analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible. So by doing the 4-hour time frame, it makes accomplishing that a lot easier. And really what I'm going to go through is just some questions and operate under the assumption you're watching this video 15-20 hours after I upload it. So question number one to ask yourself, let me just get this resistance into play, is this right here. Where is the price at relative to 65,050? In any way, shape, or form, if you're answering the question that the price is above there, Bitcoin is doing very, very well. Even if it's right here, that would imply that the price has this little pullback here has ended. It's broken out. It's come up here and actually broke out through this area of resistance right there. Now, how good of a environment is it? Well, common sense. If the price is right here, again, very good. If the price is way up here, then that's even a more bullish environment. Now, on the flip side, if you're saying, well, Clay, actually, it's 20 hours from now, the price is down below 65,050. no problem necessarily. Next question, okay, where's the price at relative to the pink line right there? 200 period moving average valued at 61,600. If you're answering the question that the price is down below there, again, the overall chart is not wrecked or destroyed, but that's starting to get shaky. How shaky? Well, once again, common sense. If the price is sitting, right around here, okay, yeah, not the greatest thing. If the price is knocking on the door down here, then yeah, things are starting to look very, very shaky. So keep your eye on those couple of key levels, walk yourself through those questions, and that'll keep Bitcoin analysis relevant for as long as possible. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely go get signed up for this free class, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin. So go get signed up. Like I said, it'll be later this week, Thursday, August 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. And it is a genuine live event. And I say that because there will be a Q&A session. So bring your questions and I'd be happy to answer them live for you. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, give me your watch list, tell me what you traded today. If you have a request for me to do an analysis on one of your positions, comment down below and I'll do my best to get to that in a future video. So thanks for watching. Go get signed up for that free training.